Well, that's what I'm all about, and that's what I've done and done and done. And I've got a lot of knowledge in a lot of different areas. People don't know that I'm probably the biggest farmer east of the Mississippi River. I think agriculture has a real place in West Virginia to grow niche crops and to be able to market them to the market that's all the people that are within 600 miles away. You know, I've said it a million times, but have you ever tasted a tomato that comes out of a grocery store that tastes like the one that comes out of your grandma's garden? You don't. The reason you don't is because of our water, our temperatures, our climate, it's our soils. Things are different, and that's why Valdalia onions grow, and that's why Georgia peaches grow where they grow, and all that. And so, but we can be known for that. The other thing is tourism. We only get the parsley right around the sides of the plate. You know, tourism. If we did it properly, and we really, instead of celebrating 2 airboat jobs, we really went out and tried to attract the next Disney or Dolly World or whatever or Dollywood or whatever it may be. There are opportunities, but you've got to think big. Well, look what we're doing at the Greenbrier. For crying out loud, guys. I mean, we brought the Greenbrier back from the dead, and we're trying to get the U.S. Open there. And now I've got Phil Mickelson there, and he's pushing to try to get the Ryder Cup there, you know, in West Virginia. You know, so we can do really bold and big things with great employment and great revenue numbers in tourism. Our natural resources, whether it be, you know, are primarily going to be driven by coal and gas. But just think about this from the standpoint of timber. And I just came up with this idea just the other day, but from the standpoint of our hardwoods, you realize that 77% of our forest, 77% of our land is forested. We need to get something for that. Do you know the contribution that our forests are making to the world and to the cleansing of our environment? It's unbelievable what our forests do and everything. And so think with me just a second. What if I were to write a federal subsidy bill, and it would say, it's an environmental subsidy. What if I were to say, the only way you qualify is you're 70% or more forested. The next thing would be it would be this, that I want the subsidy to be equivalent to 50% of the wages paid to make a product out of our hardwoods. Now, you say, well, why would our government do that? Well, that's what they do. They do it in sugar, and they do it in cheese, they do it in ethanol, they do it in solar. That's what they do. You know. Now, what would that do? It would bring back the American furniture, flooring, cabinetry business, manufacturing, and it would put it right in our lap. Now think about this, and I don't want to go on and on, but just think. You cut a tree. What do? You cut a tree, you put it on a truck, emissions go up in the air. You haul it to a dry kill, you put it on another truck, emissions go up in the air, you take it, you put it on a boat, another boat, you know, it goes to Vietnam, back on a truck, back on a boat, back on a truck, back to us, and we buy it. Emissions, emissions, emissions. Okay? Now, you'd eliminate all that, and do you know that in West Virginia, we only cut a third of our growth? A third of our growth. And so the trees are growing 3 times faster than we're cutting them. And what happens when one dies? It falls on the ground. And then, you know, eventually the carbon that it took up releases back into the atmosphere. You know, in this table right here, the carbon is right in this. It stays right in this. When you dry kill it, it stays right in this. So if we cut some more trees, not more than our growth, we would be cleaning ourselves up. You know, not ourselves in West Virginia, but the world. To me, you know, there's real possibility there. So the bottom line is, I think there's all kinds of possibility in our higher ed and our universities, agriculture, education. Education should be moved right to the forefront and everything else. We've got to fix this drug issue. We've got to fix, you know, the road situation and everything. You know, you've got coal and gas that are just going to be trump cards beyond belief. You know, in tourism, I don't know if I mentioned that, but it ought to explode in our state.